beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we'll begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. The head of state receives the new president of the National Assembly. And on the international scene, Algeria launches a $25 billion investment for the production of green hydrogen. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received this morning at the Palace of the Republic the new President of the National Assembly, Mr. Dileita, Mohammed Dileita, and the members of the Bureau of the Hemicycle, composed of the first Vice President, Mrs. Safia Elmi, the second Vice President, Mr. Umar Ahmad Wa'ez, the Secretary Question, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed Abdo, and Mr. Saliban Bile, Secretary of the National Assembly. The audience with the President served the President of the National Assembly to take stock of the legislative elections that took place on February 24th and the victory of the UMP. The President of the National Assembly also expressed his gratitude to the head of state for the trust he always placed in him. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Dileita, Mohammed Dileita, affirmed in an interview his ardent love for the country's institutions and testified to his unwavering confidence in the idea of supporting the government's policy. The head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received this Tuesday late morning at the Palace of the Republic the new Ethiopian Minister of Transport, Mr. Ali Musime, in an official working stay in Djibouti since 4th of March. The visit of the minister in Djibouti has to do with the trip in priority that each new minister invested at the head of the Ethiopian Department of Transport establishes in our country. This in view of the leading role assigned at the level of Ethiopia to this department in an integrated nature of economics of both countries. In addition to the opportunity of a first contact, the presidential audience granted to the new Ethiopian Ministry of Transport served as a framework for the development of a review of state of evolutions of strategic partnerships that the two nations maintain in almost all areas of development. The discussions were then extended to the exchange around possible additions, corrections, or reforms to be endorsed in the bilateral cooperation related to logistics and transport for an even greater increase in the movement of goods, people, and services between the two nations, characterized by a quest of community of economic destiny. The talks led to the institution to the new collaborative procedures to connect at the most efficient pace the infrastructure of logistics relay, including road, rail, port, and airport provisions between the two countries. During his audience with the President, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the new Ethiopian Minister of Transport, was accompanied by the Ambassador of the Democratic and Federal Republic of Ethiopia to the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Berhanu Tissegueh. On the Djiboutian side, the Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment, Mr. Hassan Hamad Ibrahim, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Democratic Republic, Federal Republic of Ethiopia, and Permanent Representative of our country to the African Union, Mr. Abdi Mahmoud Ayabe, and the Secretary General of the Presidency, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi Wa'ez, all took part in this event. Let's listen now to what the Ethiopian Minister of Transport had to say.
More than 90% of Ethiopian logistics is passing through Djibouti. As a newly appointed minister, my first visit is to Djibouti. I came here for two purposes. The first one is introduction with my Djiboutian colleagues. The second one is I want to take a guidance and I request support for His Excellency, the President of Republic of Djibouti. The last 3 years I have been with the Minister of Equipment and Transport, Mr. Hassan, and the Chairman of Port and Free Zone Authority, Mr. Abu Bakr, and other colleagues. We had a very good introduction and a very good discussion. And I am able to learn that there is excellent port services from Djiboutian side to Ethiopian cargos and the logistics. And there are some problems, some issues regarding to construction of road from Dikil to Galafi and the road from Malodi to Galamo. We discussed and we agreed to solve it as soon as possible. Today, this afternoon, I am with His Excellency President uh, 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 to just get his blessing and to request his support for my success in the new Ministry of Transport and Logistics of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. And I got a message from Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed to convey the President that his support to the Ethiopian transport and logistics is very important, and I conveyed this message to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Djibouti. So the President is, His Excellency is very keen and very committed to support Ethiopian logistics. We discussed the problem of this road issue and custom issue related issues. The President is gave direction to his subordinates and the ministers to solve this problem as soon as possible. So my visit with the President was very successful.
For his turn, the Minister of Transport, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Ibrahim, indicated that the Ethiopian delegation's discussion with the President of the Republic had many files of common interest. The Ministry of Transport and Equipment, Mr. Hassan Muhammad Ibrahim, organized a visit with the Ethiopian minister to guide him through the port and railway infrastructure. The first visit was to the Merjok Industrial Park, where welcomed on the premises by the President of the Ports and Free Zones, Mr. Obakar Umar Hadi. The President of the Port and Free Zone, Mr. Obakar Umar Hadi, explained the importance of this project during the visit. Then, the same delegation stopped at Nagat Station. Nagat Station, which replaces the former Djibouti Ethiopian station, it serves as a terminus, a 750-kilometer electric railway, a line between Djibouti and Ethiopia. It is an essential link that is also connected to the DCT and the DMP ports. Always accompanied by the Ministry of Transport and Equipment and President of the Port and Free Zone, the Ethiopian delegation then went respectively to the port of DCT and DMP to note the skills in terms of maritime infrastructure. The DCT Durali Container Terminal, inaugurated in 2008 by President Ismail Omar Guelleh, has 16 grantee careens and 400 connection points for reefer containers. Another important asset is the 18-meter deep quay. Finally, the President of the Ports and Free Zones, Mr. Obakar Umar Hadi, received the Ethiopian Ministry of Transport and Logistics at the DMP Durali multi-purpose port, a multi-purpose port designed to relieve maritime traffic. The DMP comprises 4 separate terminals for handling containers, all of which have direct access to the Djibouti-Ethiopia railroad line and linked to industrial centers in Ethiopia, reducing travel time on the entire route from 3 to 4 days to just 12 hours. Djibouti and the Federal Republic of Ethiopia are long-time neighbors who maintain commercial, economic, social, and cultural exchange and intend to maintain this privileged link. Let's listen to the Ethiopian Transport Minister once again.
The port service is very excellent, and the Ethiopian side is very happy by the service Djiboutian ports are providing to Ethiopia. So we have to improve this to the level that, because the Ethiopian economy is growing very fast and the population is also growing. So the demand for import and export is growing. I'm very hopeful this excellent service will improving from time to time so that Ethiopian needs will be met. So for this, my ministry is closely working with Djiboutian counterpart, especially with His Excellency Minister of Equipment and Infrastructure, Mr. Hassan, and His Excellency Chairman Abubakar and his colleagues. My visit I am having here is showing the commitment, and I able to learn that the commitment, the highly committed official from Djiboutian side as well. So we'll keep working together to to achieve prosperous Djibouti and the prosperous.
On the sidelines of LDCs, the fifth conference of least developed countries, high-level representatives of LDC and development partners shared their views on the use of INFF and innovative financing to finance the sustainable development goals. It is within this framework that the Ministry of Economy and Finance, in charge of Industry, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawali, made a presentation on the current situation in Djibouti, outlining the needs of innovative financing to support the development of Djibouti. The event provided a forum for senior government officials from least developed countries to share their experiences in using the integrated country finance framework to finance their national sustainable development goals and the SDGs. Representatives from UNDP, UNDESA, UNICEF, and OECD shared their views on how the international community can strengthen its support for these national frameworks. The Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, accompanied by the Chief of the Defense Staff and the Director General of the National Police, carried out this Tuesday, March 7, an inspection mission in the north of the country, more precisely in the posts of Maragoita and Dadatu, both located in the area of responsibility of the Joint Regiment of Tajura, commanded by Colonel Major Ali Shahem Dawood. It is at the foot of the 2010 meters altitude of Mount Musa Ali that the SEMGA carried out his first inspection at the advanced post of Maragoita. The objective of this inspection was to sensitize the soldiers on the importance of the mission which was entrusted to them and the vigilance which they must maintain in all circumstances.
intaan ku noolahay waan ku ilanaynaa kugu uur qabowna ku ammaananayna
ma ogtahay ilwaadi markii askari gala arligaynu leenahay eba ugu dhaartoon ogada xilsaaray ma ogtahay ilwaadi markii askari gala arligaynu leenahay.
In a brief speech, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces drew attention to this tour comes in an effort to get a closer look at the positions of the concentrated force on site, he stated.
صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. إذا كنا مرجوت جوجا ساك هالكنا نقول مدينة وقابلي وحنا ذكرنا لما كلمة دول وحكينا إن يكون من ساك وحيان إننا إذا أرجناه سيادو دقتين وعقبتينا حديد كي نقدر هي شعب قد ماذا يلا يدينك يساد قارهين نقول نوشان عسكري نبدي يساد نوشان سيدا تكوي إلى النيسان سيدا وضنا كوي إلى النيسان سيدا الشعب قوي إلى النيسان وأنا لقى مرمان إن هذا سير لسان شعب إلى لسان دولتي الشعب يدك إلى لسان دقمة إلى لسان هل كان ما تدقنا إنك إلهي بدل كني نسي إلهي بدقمة إني نوكوي وإنه يري ilaah baa dadkeennina yareeyey oo ina leekeysiya dalka inaan ilaa caskarinimo nin walba ilaah meel buu kaga arsaaqay adduunyada nin babiiro buu ku arsaaqay nin orod buu ku arsaaqay nin hadal buu ku arsaaqay ninba waxbuu ilaahay siiyey nin xooluu ku arsaaqay ninba ilaahay waxbuu siiyey innagu waddanka markaan gubnimada qaadanay waxaan qaadanno ilaahay nagu arsaaqay inaan qaadanno gaashaandhig oon ciidankan aan caskari noqonno oon direys qaadanno intaana kaga soocannahay ummadda kale waxaa intaa dheer hawsheenna si aan uga baxnay dalkan ninba meel baa ciidanka uu ka degay tajooro waa reejo reejoga tajoora ciidan baa jooga ciidankaasu kala qaybsan yahay armee baa jira booliis baa jira jandaaran baa jira dawladdii iyo wixii la socday baa jiro gurihii baa dhisan meel kastana waa caynka waxaad yeelaysaan waxaan idinku dardaarayaa is-ilaaliya xerada ilaaliya degmada ilaaliya sekteerka aad joogtaan ilaaliya iskorkaad is ilaalisaan dadka waxa kalena ilaaliya waxaad leedahay waraabaha dhulka ka dhaba waraabaha dhulka inooga dhaba daryada waddanka inooga ilaaliya ilaahay imtixaanka inaga hayo imtixaan iyo ilaahay nagu ridan waddanka allah inoo ilaaliyo dawladda allah inoo ilaaliyo dalka allah inoo ilaaliyo caruurta allah inoo ilaaliyo hooyooyinka allah inoo ilaaliyo degmada allah inoo ilaaliyo innaguna aan ilaalino اللهم صل على محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم الفاتح.
Amen. In his second inspection to the Dadairo post, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim Chouali inspected the barracks defense system before sensitizing the post soldiers on the importance of the mission they have been entrusted with and the vigilance they must maintain in all circumstances. During the inspection of these two posts, the CGS did not fail to examine carefully the living and working conditions of all officers, non-commissioned officers, and rank and file, as well as the material means and military equipment made available to them. In the context of this visit, the Chief of the General Staff praised the performance of the security forces and defense deployed in these locations.
والسلام على رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد ciidankan reer tajoora ah ee degan degmadan dhacdhacta degan saaka waxaan idinku nimidnay inaan isalaano siyaaraan idinku nimidnay waxaan u nimidnay inaan aragno si aa u degan tihiin waxqabadtiina xidhiirka dhexdiinniyo askarinimadiina say tahay iyo xidhiirka aad leedihiin degmada dadkeena idin degan halkan shacbiga idin degan inaan intaan aragno iyo wixii lamid ayaan inii soo marnaan ka saaka oon inii soo guurnay maanta ilaah waa kana keenay waxaad yeeshaan laba kelmadood baan iga odhanaya labadaa kelmadood dhegihiinna iyo dhaayihiinna iyo qalbigiinna u fura labadaa kelmadood waxay yihiin ta horeysa waan islaamaynaa waxaa intaa dheer halkaa waxaad u fadhidaan maha cidla dad la naca maaha dad cidwan u hayn maaha dad meesha keeda lagu daaya maaha waxaa laynii dhigay kolkii dhulka la qaybiyey in caskari noqonay waa la qaybiyey meel kastaba in baa loo hagaajiyay sidaa baa tihiin kelidiin ma tiidina haddaad tana dhactatiinna raggan imaka inta serviiska samaanayntiina imakaan arkaya waad isku filantihiin haddaad soo jeedaan ood daacad tihiin ood caskari tihiin ood intii la seexanaya seexataan oo intii kale aad soo jeedaan wax qabanaysaan oo gaarka markaad ka dhaadhacdo aadad dhexdhika iska furin oo iska jibsan oo waa cidlo dhulku waana nabad aad ku talagelin waad isku filaanaysaa adoona waxba inagama qaadayo ilaahna uni gargaaraya waddankiina ducadiina iyo dadkeena dawladdiina aad helaysaan calankaa waxa u daacada ninkii u daacado ba calan uu yahay ninkii aan u daacad ahayn calan uma noqonayo waxaad helaysaan askar noqda daacad noqda soo jeed dad soo jeeda noqda indhihiinu ha furnaadaan reer dhaadhacatow waxaad yeeshaan waa isku filantihiin annaguna diyaar banayna dhalkeenna waraabaha inooga dhaba ubadkeenna waraabaha inooga dhaba carruurteenna waraabaha inooga dhaba waxaan leenahay allah nabad yeelo nabad allah idinka yeelo nabad allah ina yeelo dalka nabad allah inooga dhigo dowladda nabad allah inoo nimada waa leenahay allah inoo siyaadiyo dalka allah inoo barakeeyo dowladda allah inoo barakeeyo marka allah inoo barakeeyo ilaahay qabay xooggeeni waxaan qabayna allah inoo barakeeyo ilaahay sukeen sakhiro اللهم صل على محمد وصحبه وسلم الفاتح.
After the opening ceremony of the week of the Reading Festival, which was organized last Sunday, the 5th from March in the National Library and Archives, scheduled activities began under this literary and cultural adventure is for the benefit of students and reading enthusiasts. Mr. Jean-Dominique Penel and Dr. Musa Suleiman participated with the audience with the aim of knowing their opinions. The discussion constructive participants on this occasion managed how to get better findings in the literature in the Horn of Africa. It was also reviewed Mr. Benel, who was a coach at the School of Education, additional consultant, and one of the institutors of his long experience in Africa and Africans on both personal and professional levels. For his part, Dr. Musa Suleiman explained how useful the work of the authors was. Like many African writers, are treasured truths of oral expression, their feelings, and copy their thoughts.
hubal waa talo wadaag caqabadii hortaagnaaye isticmaalku nooga tegay
The EEGA Memorial hosted an enriching literary and meeting organized under the auspice of the Ministry of Culture. The objective of this conference was to give the young generation the opportunity to appropriate their cultural values and identity. The four talented authors, namely Jean-Dominique Penel, lover of Djiboutian literature, author of 3 books of Djibouti, Mr. Musa Suleiman Oussi, lecturer in general and comparative literature, Dr. Fatouma Haji Mahmoud Ali, author of children's lullabies, among others, and Dr. Amina Nuh Buh, also author of the book Song of Work, have presented their works to the youth. Thus, the debates and questions and answers on the occasion of this event have enriched fruitful exchange, likely to promote the spirit of creativity in cultural and artistic initiatives, especially a generalized awareness guaranteeing a reference promoter. The choice of this particular site was not insignificant because of its impact as the new federation, as for the socio-political and cultural history of the Djiboutian nation. As part of the protection and promotion of the rights of people with disabilities in Djibouti, the Auto School of Fair, in collaboration with the National Agency for People with Disabilities, organized on Sunday, March 5th, a training of highway code and practice of motorcycle for people with disabilities. This training benefited a number of disabled men and women who learned the passage of the code, which is free for disabled people, in order to take the practical examination of the driving license. The training is co-chaired by the Deputy Director of the EMPH, Mahad Ibrahim Hassan, and the Director of the Auto School of the Fair, Abdullah Habib Arif. The National Agency for Disabled People aims to promote driving activities, which is essential to preserve their independence and ensure its ability to drive for their road safety. The Republic of Djibouti will host from this Thursday the Regional Championship of Table Tennis, a tournament in which will participate not less than 14 countries, including Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Mauritius, Madagascar, Uganda, Rwanda, Seychelles, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Tanzania. Now that most of the infrastructure is ready, the organizing committee is satisfied with the preparations and is launching awareness campaigns to mobilize the population to support their team. To get medals and honors, our country can count on its table tennis players who are ready and confident to take up the challenge, and among them we can count on the trio trained in France. The ambassador of the European Union to Djibouti, Mrs. Elvif Tabes, went on Sunday to the region of Ali Sibih, accompanied by the UNDP resident representative, Mrs. Emma Nguano, to take part in a workshop to raise awareness and promote the rights of Djiboutian women. This workshop, organized in cooperation with the Ministry of Women and Family, is part of the support program to justice and mobile justice to the Ministry of Justice. Upon her arrival at the site, the diplomat, accompanied by the UNDP resident representative, Mrs. Emma Nguano, was warmly welcomed by the Deputy Prefect, Mr. Mohammed Hamad Abbas, at the office of the prefecture in the presence of the second Djibouti, Mr. Umar Idris Sougeh, the commander of the Ali Sibih Police Detachment, Mahdi Umar Jama, as well as representatives of the Ministry of Women and the Family. During this visit was honored the program of support to justice funded by the European Union, implemented by the UNDP, in which accompanies the efforts of the Ministry of Justice to establish a mobile justice to increase the chances of access to justice for all. Especially in the interior of the country, the workshop, which was held at the Regional Council of Ali Sibih, was attended by 40 people and was led by experts appointed by the Ministry of Women's Affairs. To diversify its energy mix dominated by gas and oil, Algeria is now planning massive investments in the green hydrogen and solar energy segments. Algeria plans to invest to 20 to 25 billion US dollars in green hydrogen production, announced the Director General of Economic Studies and Forecasting at the Algerian Ministry of Energy and Mines on the February of 23rd. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.